Okay, let's look at the basic integral rules, right? So this is power rule, right? Remember that antiderivative is reverse process of derivative. That's why it's called the antiderivative, right? So let's remember that we have a power rule for derivative. Power rule for derivative. Right, which was something like this, right? So if you take the derivative of x to the n, then you get put n in front, x, and subtract 1 from the power, right? So I'm gonna write this process in words. So this is basically what you need to do is multiply by, so multiply by the power, right? Then subtract 1 from the power, right? So this is basically the process of power rule, right, for the derivative, right? Why don't we reverse this process? So we want to write down the process which is the opposite of this guy, right? So in order to reverse it, I'm going to reverse this part, subtract 1 from the power. So the reversal would be add 1 to the power, right? Then, right, we're gonna so in order to reverse the multiply by power, so we're gonna divide by the power, right? So I'm gonna do that process as the antiderivative, right? So here, right, first add 1 to the power, so you have x to the, right, add 1 to the power, which is going to be n plus 1, right? Then divided by that power, so it's going to be over n plus 1, right? And since it's indefinite integral, we have a constant of integration, so plus any constant c, right? This is actually the power rule for antiderivative, right? Then exponential function we've already looked at. We know that the derivative of e to the x is e to the x, right? Therefore, reversal, antiderivative of e to the x is going to be still e to the x plus some constant c, right? So that's an easy one. All right, third one, log rule is a little bit of tricky. Remember that we have a log rule for derivative. So log rule for derivative. All right, so it goes something like this. So you take the derivative of natural log of x, you get 1 over x, right? And but remember that if you take the derivative of natural log of negative x, right, so you take the derivative of that, that would be 1 over negative x multiplied by derivative inside, which is negative 1, so which is going to give you 1 over x as well, right? So antiderivative of 1 over x is going to be natural log of x and natural log of negative x, right? So it's not convenient to have two different forms. So what they did was combine these two guys together. So instead of doing a plus or minus, they just put the absolute value sign around x so that we can take care of both at the same time, right? So therefore, log rule, antiderivative of 1 over x is natural log of absolute value of x plus some constant c, right? So those are the basic integral rules that we can use, right? So keep those guys in mind, and they're not very difficult to remember. Once you know how to take the derivative, you just have to reverse the process. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.